Hi, thank you so much for tuning in to P2P Relates, where we talk about all things relationships. I'm Pat Renfro, and today we're going to continue our series for the month of December on avoiding loneliness. Last week we spoke about focusing on others. When you reach out to others and you look at what they're about and what they're going through and you comfort them, you won't feel as lonely because you'll be with them. This week is very closely related to that same thing. We're going to be talking about improving your selflessness. Now, I could imagine that some of you are going to be like, what? Improving your selflessness? What in the world is that? We have to get to the place where, I remember Creflo Dollar once said, get out of the center. Sometimes we're so in the middle, it's all about me, that we don't even know how to think about somebody else and to consider them. But I promise you, it's going to be very seldom in your entire life that you would have a problem finding someone going through more than you're going through. So this is, like I said, very similar to focusing on others. But the difference is now we're going to get a little bit deeper into self-development, and we're going to look at what does it mean to be selfless. So before I tell you that, I want to make sure you understand what it doesn't mean is that you don't take care of yourself, that you are not self-aware, that you shouldn't be the best you can be and strive for that you should not have self-care. That's not what any of those are. Selflessness says that it's not so much about me that we're going to strive, we're going to end the relationship, or we're going to banter because it's my way or the highway. And we do that in so many different ways. And we're in an intimate relationship. We know what that most time looks like. But when we're in a friendship or we are siblings in a family and we need to relate, or you have a good friend, or you have someone in your life and you thought that you all were closer than you really are. So there's opportunity for misunderstanding, for offensiveness, for disappointments, because someone didn't meet your expectation or someone didn't nurture you and make you feel wonderful. And in order for us to show up in relationships, in order for us to have relationships and then develop those relationships into richer, close relationships, we got to get out of the way. We got to get out of the center, and we've got to look at how we can be there for others. I told you it was similar last week. But again, we're going a little bit deeper, and we're looking at, well, how do I develop selflessness? So here we go again with Pat's story. Pat always has a story. When I first got married, my husband and I were very strong-willed, and we had lots of arguments. And one of my girlfriends from way back used to say, you know what I see? I see that you all have a power struggle, and that's your biggest problem. That's what you're going through. And over the years, even from like year 2 or 3, I used to say to my husband, you know what? I'm just going to die to self. And he was like, you're always so extreme. Why has it got to be one way or the other? Why can't you meet in the middle? And I said, lukewarm, you get spit out. I'm telling you that I should just die to self. And what I mean by that is I need to stop trying to make it about me. I need to stop trying to be right. I need to stop trying to make it happen the way I think it should happen. And maybe if I just die to the need to get my self priorities met, I can move out of the way, and maybe you can get yours met, and maybe we can have some peace. And that's not an overnight process at all. Oh, it's going to be painful. It's going to be sometimes a long journey. We want things to get straight, and we want them to get straight fast. But sometimes they don't get straight fast. Sometimes you've got to endure and endure and endure. You got to believe and believe and believe. You got to wait and wait and wait. You got to hope and hope and hope. You got to pray and you got to pray. All these things you have to do over time. But in the meantime, you got to get out of the center. It's not easy, but it's necessary. And I tell you what, next week we're going to be talking about giving up tit for tat. And you say, what? Where in the world is she going with all this? When you're in a holiday season, it is so easy to say, oh, are we going to exchange gifts? If you celebrate Christmas, are we going to exchange gifts? And technically, that's a pretty selfish question. It really is. Either you want to bless somebody or you don't. But if you only want to bless them if they can bless you, then what are you doing it for? Because you're really not doing a whole lot. And if you're a Christian, Jesus is the reason for the season. Yeah, yeah. I just couldn't resist. Hey, but whatever your reason is, gift giving is just an aside. And if we get too thrown off the pathway, we'll be looking at tit for tat. So that's next week. Sorry about that. But for this week, selflessness has a good place. Does it feel good? Is it fun? Is it painless like selflessness? No, it's not. But I tell you what, you get a whole lot more peace. The more selfless you are. And again, let's define it now. I've already talked about what it is not. You move away from the need to meet your own needs, and you get to the place where you focus on others and what their needs are. So, when I'm in a relationship and somebody asks me to do something, and I really don't want to do it because I wouldn't need it, I wouldn't ask them to do it. Selflessness says, there's a reason they asked you to do that or for that or to not do that. So how about you just step aside and give it to them? How hard is that? I guarantee you, not that you want to walk around pleasing people, but the more you can get yourself out of the way and take a real sincere look at what someone else may need or want or dislike or have an opposition to, the more peace you're going to have in the relationship. And I guarantee you, the more peace there is in a relationship, the more peace you're going to encounter. Now, you may not feel peaceful at first. You may feel hot and bothered. But if you will work on dying to self, if you will work on it not being about you, if you'll work on getting out of the center of the circle, believe it or not, and I know it's really a stretch, you won't be lonely. You know why you won't be lonely? You won't be lonely because your focus, in order to be selfless, see, if we're selfish, it's all about ish. It's all about me. It's all about what I need, what I want, why I want it, how I'm going to get it, and all that. But if I'm selfless, it's not about I. I'm not in the center anymore. So I'm looking around to see how I can serve, how I can address, answer, support, help, love, forgive. Those are all things that come out of being selfless, because you're less and less concerned about how your needs get met. And again, it doesn't excuse you from working out, from eating healthy, from getting your rest, all the things that you need to do, your vitamins, good nutrition, plenty of hydration, water. You're taking care of your body. You're being a good steward of what you've been blessed with, because you've been blessed with life. And if you want life and you want it more abundantly and you want it to be such that it's a good quality life and not just barely here life, you got to take care of yourself. But what I mean when I'm talking about selflessness is when you recognize that you're not in this world alone, and that what you really need is to be in relationship with others. We weren't created, man's not an island. We weren't created to live alone. We weren't created to do alone. Another story, but this one's very quick. I was working on a design for a meeting that we were having, and I put the straw horse out there, and then I gave it to the people that were kind of waiting on it. And I said, this is just a draft. So gave you something to work with. And once we get together, we can make it our own. And it took several weeks for us to get together because we were all busy. But once we got together, I'm telling you what, that design turned into something phenomenal because a group of bright minds put it together. But if I had said it's mine and we need to keep it like this and I'm the one that did it and blah, 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 it would have been one-dimensional. It would have been just what Pat thought of and not what the team thought of. So selflessness doesn't mean it's pleasant. It doesn't mean that you're perfectly okay with losing your concept originally or somebody changing what you had. But it doesn't matter. What's really important is what is the end desire? What is the bottom line quality of product? And the more wisdom you put around that project, the better it's going to come out. It may take a little extra work to get on one accord and be in sync, but you're going to have a much better product with bright minds than just a few bright minds. So selflessness is a daily opportunity to say no to what you want, what you prefer, what your opinions are, and to look for how others feel. To remind yourself that you're in a club with other people and how they want to do things and what their opinions are and what their concerns or fears are. All those things are valid. And if you care about other people, you'll care about what their needs are and how you're interacting with them. And sometimes you'll need to sit down. Sometimes you'll need to zip it. Sometimes you'll need to just chill. Sometimes you'll need to fold. Because if you are selfless, you are meeting the needs of others. Are you supposed to meet their every need? Absolutely not. Are you supposed to always please people? Absolutely not. But if it's about you, you'll find yourself doing things that serve you and serve you well at the expense many times of others. But if you recognize that you're wonderfully and marvelously made and that you're good enough, but that it's not all about you and it's good and everybody else around you is the same, they're wonderfully and marvelously made as well. And they have the right to be heard. They have the right to be considered. They have the right to be served. So hope this helps you. Again, happy holidays. Find your joy in serving others. Find your joy in giving back, giving away. Find your joy in loving others, and you will not have to deal with loneliness. And when it comes up, it raises his ugly head, you can spew on it and say, not today, not ever, not today. Can't have me. My joy is my strength. All right, y'all. Have a wonderful day. Give me a thumbs up. Subscribe if you haven't already, and know that I post every week. I probably will be posting 2 within the next 7 days because I got to catch up on 1 week behind for this series. But I just want to wish you the best, and I'll see you next time. Bye.